We'll jump right into it here. So with the NBA, I know we normally talk about Warriors, but I'd be remiss if I don't talk about Damian Lillard, who went off against the worst team in the NBA, but they're also the youngest team. I think the average age for them is like 22 years old. So Damian Lillard goes off for 71 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Jesus, get it out there. And efficient shooting of 22 of 38, 13 from 22, and 14 of 14 from the free throw line in 37 minutes. Pretty efficient.
It's good work.
Shout out to Oakland Dame. You know, it's always Dame time. A couple notes I want to point in here that I think is hilarious. He is the first player to make 400 feet worth of shooting in a single game. He shot 420 feet in a single game. To give you an idea, that's about 4.5 NBA courts that he shot during a game. Literally did a half court shot, switched it, no problems. Also had a right one-handed poster. I don't remember who it was. Shingun, I think, is who he did it on. And then today he wakes up and the NBA is asking to drug test Damian Lillard.
The random, I'm doing the quotation marks, random drug testing, you know. We see it in the NFL a lot where the random drug test happens after a monster game, and it happens in the NBA too. So I'm not terribly surprised to hear that it happened, but it's, you know, oh, come on, just let him have some fun, you know. God damn. Can a guy be a super mega star without, I don't know, getting it questioned? You know, I don't know, man.
I don't know. I mean, to me, he played out of wordly, so you got to drug test that guy, you know?
He's just an alien. That's, you know, that, so what, you know?
Have you not seen Space Jam? Have you not seen Space Jam?
What was the actor's name?
One or two?
Oh, definitely the better one. What was the actor's name? Oh my God. He was in Jurassic Park and he's in Space Jam. And he comes in to try and help him out at the very end, but he's completely useless.
Oh, yeah. God,
I just remember him in Jurassic Park where he's like trying to escape, but then he crashes the Jeep or whatever is trying to like fix the fence, and then the spitter dinosaur comes out and gets him in the face and then eats him.
Oh, his
Wayne
last
Knight.
name is
Wayne Knight.
Yeah.
It's Wayne Knight.
That would be all of us if we ever tried to step onto an NBA court to try and help out any team. I also think too that we should advocate that the Olympics should have an average Joe. I think we said this a few weeks ago. I'm still bringing it back. I want like an average guy doing the shot put so we can see the disparity between
all free throws come from a normal guy.
Yeah.
So even if you get fouled, they got to bring out this like fucking idiot.
They look like midgets on the court next to them.
They have them in a cage. They're like,
little
"Come
people,
on,
little
come on
people."
out.
Oh, I'm sorry, little people.
Yeah,
My apologies.
get it right. Yeah.
I think it'd be fun.
Sensitivity here. We're very sensitive here.
That's right.
Yeah.
Clearly.
So to segue into this, make this work here, the Portland will be coming on down to the Bay Area and they'll be playing against the Warriors tomorrow, actually. Oh, well, if you're listening to it, I guess it's today.
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. So jumping into the Warriors week since our last podcast here, they took a gigantic L against the Lakers in LA, 124-111. They then beat the worst team in NBA basketball. Stop me if you heard me say that. The Houston Rockets, 116-101. And then they squeaked out a win the other night against Minnesota, 109-104. Currently 31-30, 7th in the West, 21 games left. What is your panic meter at, guys?
I'm honestly, this is happening without Steph. I mean, you have to hope you get Steph back sooner rather than later. But as long as they keep, you know, staying in it, if they're within striking range of not having to be in the play-in tournament, you know, I mean, who knows what happens after that. So as long as they can avoid the play-in tournament, they're going to be in. I think they'll be in a lot better shape. I hope.
They got Wiggins out. You know, Wiggins is out. Wiggins, we don't know when he's coming back.
Dre just got cleared as well from his injury, so he'll be back soon.
So, you know, I'm not really. I think the way the Warriors are looking at it is if they get in even through the playoff tournament, if they're healthy, And if they got Gary Payton the second back, they get Wiggins back, they get Steph back, you know, even if you're on the play-in, you get past that, you know, and you're healthy. Maybe you could go on another miracle run, but it just seems, I don't know. It's like that's the optimistic approach that I have, is like you could just get in, and if you're healthy, who knows? But the other side is it's kind of scary that this could be the final season that the Warriors team is together, because are you gonna bring back all these pieces when you fell short this season? So something's gonna break, so
I'm very reactionary, and I get it. Like when the Lakers game, I was upset, because it's like we're playing, as Vince would say, mid as fuck. But then I look at the records, and 2nd to 10th,
the whole West
10th,
is mid.
Yeah, the second to
looking at
10th
it this morning, and it's like they win 5 games, they're in second place.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2nd to 10th, with 10th being the last play-in seed there, it's 5.5 games separate all of them. So it's one of the things I get upset, and I look at the record. I'm like, we're not out of it, and we're certainly not close to being eliminated either. So it's tough. I think this reminds me of our fantasy football season,
Yeah.
where literally everyone has a chance to make it. You know?
Yeah. It's 2nd and 10th was literally separated by 2 games in our fantasy league.
Yeah. So wild. I guess I did panic when they played the Lakers and they got blown out. And the only reason why I'm not panicking because I don't think this team could win a playoff series. I definitely think they can win a playoff series. My concern is that you traded Wiseman because you didn't want to give him, or you couldn't give him, the runway that he needed, right? But any team with a pretty formidable big man is dominating us. I mean, look at Minnesota. They had their 3rd string center go for a career high of 30 points. And I think his name was Reed. And they didn't even have Towns or Gobert playing. So
I wanna talk about the Wiseman thing too. I don't know, man. I don't. He doesn't. I mean, it's only been 1 game with Detroit. He looks exactly the same, but it's only 1 game, so that really doesn't mean anything. But he wasn't even getting on the practice floor with the starters, and apparently that's coming from the team itself. That the starters, the Steph Curry, the Klay Thompson, the Draymond, for some of these, and that's what they're saying about Kuminga, is that they're making the wrong decisions, that they're constantly making these mental errors that the team feels like they should know by now. And that's why these guys aren't getting playing time. And it kind of makes sense.
But they're 20, 21 years old.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's what's
coming
out.
Look, put it this way. When Draymond Green became the main ball handler, like when he was first doing that and he would run up the court, I don't know if you guys remember, but I remember watching him with the ball and be like, oh my God, he's going to turn it over like every time. Like he is chaotic. He runs up and down the court. He's like Jordan Poole, where like when Jordan Poole has the ball, I think he's going to turn the ball over every time. But we had to give Draymond that leeway. We had to give him that because he had not essentially, I mean, he did earn it. I mean, he did take, Lee's job in the playoffs because he was injured, but we had to go through the growing pains, I mean, Klay Thompson couldn't drive to the hoop.
These guys have all been injured for a long time, and these young guys aren't sustaining minutes. So,
but Wiseman was injured too, though.
But it's not just Wiseman. It's Moody, Kuminga. They're not getting as many minutes.
Moody's not getting minutes because of his position. He's at a position where there is too many people on the depth chart at his height and at his position. Not to say that when Moody goes out there, he plays aggressive. He plays to try and stay on the court. It's just that there's just not enough minutes to give out at his position. Where I think, are you just going to run Looney to the ground, 40 minutes, and during the playoffs?
That's why I'm saying, like, I think the players rather just run with what they have right now. They're 500. And if they get their stars back, you get, Curry and Wiggins, they're like, you know what, we can be a lot better, and we're getting Gary Payton the second back who can help us out defensively and maybe hit those corner threes like before. Like I said, I feel like if everybody comes back healthy and they're in the play-in tournament, I think they feel like we just want to get in and roll the dice. And this is going to be kind of like, you Moody and Kuminga might get their number called in the playoffs. They're going to definitely have to play in the playoffs. And hopefully they succeed. Hopefully they play well. But I think even going down the stretch, you're going to kind of see this. The team is going to be the same. You're not getting help from that.
No.
Ship has sailed. Like, this is the team.
Well, they still have a roster spot, but to your point about, GP2 in the playoffs, I don't expect him to be great at shooting. I mean, he's not going to shoot the ball for, 2 months, and Wiggins too. I mean, I don't know what's going on with Wiggins. It sounds like it's a family personal matter, but he's going to come back just as rusty too, and he had just tried to slowly knock off the rust that he was just getting off of. So I think we need to lower expectations of what you think scoring wise may happen down the end of the stretch there from those two players. Defensively, I think it's, there's not gonna be a problem with GP2. I can't wait to see GP2 and Dante DiVincenzo defensively. I mean, Dante has been an absolute revelation for this team.
Yeah,
defensively, he's amazing.
Yeah, he's playing his way
Yeah.
into a better contract and no
he's
longer
opting
being on
out.
this team next year for sure.
He's amazing. I can't say enough
He's
about
healthy.
Dante.
He's
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't healthy in Sacramento. He wasn't fully healthy in Minnesota. So this is his first, I think, full season that he's been completely healthy, and it's amazing.
Find some wood and knock, you son of a bitch.
So
right.
I don't know. I'm just telling you. I know you're saying in the playoffs, just maybe lower your expectations on the scoring. You're gonna. Clay's been out of his mind.
I'm not sitting here saying they're going to run the table. I'm saying this is what I think the Warriors are thinking. I think my personal opinion is this is not a very good team. This is what they are. They don't have size. They don't have the young guys taking the steps that we all hope for. And maybe that's minutes. Maybe that's run. Maybe that's coaching. Maybe that's just, this 2 timeline talk. Like, I don't know why it's not succeeding, but the guys that were successful last year, like Jordan Poole doesn't look the same. Like, doesn't look the same right now.
He's
Wiggins
regressed
is not
for
there.
Sure.
There's just so much going on with this team, and they're aging. And, one of the things that's being talked about all the time now is there was kind of like a little while where we were like, well, maybe they got past the punch. But Draymond has been on his podcast and radio stations and articles where he says that he doesn't communicate the same way that he does. He's not after guys in practice because of the punch. And the defense has suffered, right? Like, the defense is clearly not as good as what it once was. They're not a very good defensive team right now. And Draymond has said, the team has said, everybody has said that he's not as aggressive in practice, and it seems like they've lost their identity. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm saying this is what people are talking about, is that practice is different since the punch,
So do you think
something's going on?
I mean,
Draymond's gone. I think this is Draymond's final season.
I agree with that, but you alluded to it a little bit. Do you think if this team doesn't pan out, are we blowing this up in the
I think
offseason?
you're blowing it up in the sense of, like, you may have to try to offload Jordan Poole. You could maybe get something in return. I think Draymond is probably gone. Maybe you try to keep Steph and Clay because they've been pretty good. And they're Hall of Famers. So maybe you try to keep Curry's. They're not going to let Curry go. I think it's their guy. Like, they're going to try to keep Curry in a single jersey, I think, as long as possible. Lacob has a special, affection for Clay. So Joe Lacob has publicly said that's Klay Thompson's his favorite Warrior for a personal level. But I think the roster would turn over. Maybe that's, Kevon Looney, maybe you move off of him because it's just a lot of money. So maybe the youth movement happens. I don't know. I don't know what you can do because this is kind of like one of the first times we're seeing an NBA team in the modern era, like be so far into the luxury tax with all these superstars and all this winning. How do you get out of it and how do you rebuild it? And I think we're kind of seeing that. And
one thing to note too
there's
is
going to
that
be franchises right behind the Warriors that are going to be like this,
Bob Myers hasn't signed that contract extension either.
So
I don't know.
Lacob, Lacob's son is like the assistant GM. So, there's something going on there. I don't know if it's bad. It just could, Steve Kerr said this a few times too. And he got it from Phil Jackson, is that like Phil Jackson would say about 7 years is when, you kind of wear your welcome out as a coach. So that's,
well, Pop didn't get that message because he's been there for like 25 years.
For sure. But they don't, like San Antonio, like, do they look like a young team that's going to be good again? I don't know. Like every time I see them, they don't look that good.
I think so. So Pop only stayed on because of, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on his name. He was a center for Portland and then he got him to come play.
LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah. So LaMarcus Aldridge and Pop had a deal that if he came to San Antonio, Pop would stay. So Pop did. Then he signed a contract extension. But I think Pop's gone, man. Like I think even after the season, he's just gonna be like, I'm done. I'll call it quits. He looks like he's not ready to coach another 82 games.
I think this team, getting back to the Warriors, it's just they are at a massive crossroads as a team and as a franchise. Joe Lacob's paying a lot of money in these taxes, and he's been able to do that because they've been winning and they've been profitable. But if you're paying these taxes and you're not in the playoffs or you're not going deep into the playoffs or winning a championship, right? All that money you made starts to eat into your savings. So I think he's still got to pay the stadium. You're still doing a lot of development in the area.
Don't forget about the standing offer to buy the A's.
The standing offer to buy the A's. He's going to need a lot of cash, and we need that to happen.
the fan standing offer,
right? And then also there's what does Bob Myers want? Like, God, he's the architect of this, right? He's considered one of the guys that really kept this together. As it found a lot of pieces along the way, pulled all the right strings along the way. Does he feel like he's peaked? Does he, in this setting, does he want to do something else? Does Steve Kerr want to move on? Steve Kerr, if he stepped away for 1 year, 2 years, he could do a TV deal again. He was great on TV. He could go back into TV, get the fattest contract in TV for a year or two. And if he wanted to, he could go back to coaching. He could do whatever. Steve Kerr could do whatever he want in this next phase of his life. And
I think him and Curry are linked. I think Steve Kerr walks away when Steph Curry walks away. I think that is a linked synonymous of a career path between coaching and player.
Yeah,
I hope you're right, but I don't think so.
Well, Curry's got like what? As a starting player, what, 3-4 more years, maybe as a starting player.
We don't know. I hear you though. Like, yeah, I know. Like, pretty soon
he has more years behind him than ahead of him. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And that old adage, "Father Time is undefeated."
But they're just, it's an interesting. They're at an interesting crossroads. So the Warriors are. What's going to happen?
You're listening to the SVT podcast. Subscribe on YouTube and hit the bell to get alerts when we post new episodes. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at SVT Sports Pod. Slide into our DMs. We would love to interact with you.